This next tip is major, you guys, major. So listen up, okay? What's up, you guys? It's your girl Angela with The Aspiring Boss. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is for all of my recently graduated law students. Congratulations, first of all. You guys are about to embark on that journey to study for the bar exam. And let me just say, I feel you. I already know you stressed, you're anxious, you're worried, and you just want to do everything in your power so you take that test one time and one time only. I feel you. As you know by this title, I've taken and passed 2 bar exams, both on the first try. I took Texas back when I first graduated, and then 2 years ago when I moved here to Missouri, I had to retake the bar exam again because I had been practicing long enough to waive into the state, so I had to take 2 bar exams. So I feel you. Oh my gosh, do I feel you. So with that, I'm not even gonna sit up here and try to give you the statistics or anything like that to try to make you feel better about the fact that you have to take the bar exam, because I already know people told me, oh, X amount of percent of people pass. Oh, if you made this type of grades in law school, then you for sure will pass. The odds are in your favor. None of that helped me sleep at night, and I was still a nervous wreck when it came to the bar exam. So what I am going to do is let you guys in on the tips that I use in order to pass the bar exam on the first try for both the Texas bar exam and the Missouri bar exam. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so the first tip is to be selfish with your time. You guys, you're going to have to prepare your friends, your family, your loved ones, any of the organizations that you're involved in, that this will be a time where you are really cut off from the world. You know, you can't go to their birthday parties, you can't go out, you can't go to brunch, you can't do all the things that you do on your normal day-to-day life because you have to study for the bar exam for 2 months. And some people will understand and some people will get it and some people won't. Honestly, I hate to be frank, but oh well, okay? This is important. It's 2 months of your life. It's time for you to buckle down, and they're just going to have to deal with it. So be selfish with your time. Okay, so the second tip is be efficient with your time. Study time is just that, study time. So for example, I studied at my law school library all summer, and so did a bunch of other students that I went to law school with. And there would be people there from sun up to sundown, right? But half of that time they weren't studying. They were walking around, conversing, and just, you know, just there to be there. Don't waste your time. Don't waste time looking like you're studying. Actually studying. Don't waste time talking about studying. Actually study. Okay, so the next tip is important with respect to how I study. My advice is to review the long outlines, internalize them, or, you know, review, study them, but then create shorter outlines to actually study, memorize, and really just beat in your head, you guys. Those long outlines that Barbary or whatever company that you go with for bar prep, those outlines are super long and they contain literally all the information you can know on that particular subject. But it's not realistic for you to study that one, you know, on a day-to-day basis. You need to create shorter outlines. If you're taking Barbary, they actually provide shorter outlines for people to utilize. I actually took the extra step and created my own outlines. Even if it was me literally copying and pasting Barbary's short outline, I created my own outlines because that helps me internalize information. And then what I would do with those short outlines is add in examples of rules of law and things like that I personally knew that if I saw those examples, I would remember that and really understand the law. So you don't necessarily have to take that extra step that I took, but I do think it's important to study the shorter outlines where you can really, you know, memorize the rule of law and understand the concepts that you're trying to learn, because trying to study those long outlines, you know, throughout the whole process, it's going to be really difficult. All right, the next tip is to do practice exams under test conditions, you guys. This is so important. In the test, it will be timed. You will not have open book. You will not be able to do anything other than use what's in your brain. So I really am a firm believer, and that is how you should take the practice exams. It's so tempting to kind of stop and look or not take it under exam conditions. But when you take the practice exams under test conditions and you go back and look at the answers you got right and whether you made time and things like that, that will allow you to see what you need to work on for the real exam. So I do suggest that you take practice exams under practice conditions as much as possible, particularly once you start to get in the month of July. You guys, all of the practice exams that you're taking, whether that be for essays or MBE, should be timed and without looking at your test materials. The next tip is consider options outside of taking that in-person class. And for a lot of you, this is kind of what you're going to be forced to do anyway because of the coronavirus situation. But yes, for the most part, like Barbary and other bar preps have in-person, you know, live lessons that you can attend. And I actually did attend those lessons probably for the first 3 weeks. And then I realized that it was kind of slowing me down, you guys. The drive time, chatting with people, going at the pace of everyone else versus just myself, all those things kind of slowed me down. So after about 3 weeks, I started just going straight to my school library and doing the live lessons on my own at my own pace, and allowed me to save a lot of time. So for any of you guys who are being forced to do the lessons online, let that be a comfort to you that honestly, I think the live lessons aren't necessary. And my whole view on that at first was that I needed the live lessons to hold myself accountable, but I found that as long as I had a schedule and I left like my bedroom, that I stuck to my study plan just fine without the live lessons. Honestly, the live lessons were more of a distraction and a time waster than anything for me. Also, one thing about skipping the live lessons and going straight to the school library is it allowed me to get like the best study rooms because everyone else was going to the live lessons and then coming over to the library. So, you know, I got the best study rooms in the law school library because I was there first. Y'all know how I be trying to get a good study room at law school, okay? Don't even fret. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, my next tip is to find a study partner. You guys, with a study partner, you guys can make a schedule together, meet up every day, and just be there to hold one another accountable. I had a study partner for the first bar exam, but not the second bar exam. But honestly, I was just in a different space. I was already employed. I'd already passed the bar exam. I just was a lot more confident. But that first bar exam that I took, a study partner was key in just holding me accountable. One thing I will say about the study partner is don't rely on them too much, because at different points of studying, we will all get fatigued. So if you're feeling ready to study and your study partner is like, hey, I need a day off or I need an afternoon off, you keep going, okay? Because it'll be just you when it comes to taking the test. So yes, it's good to have a study partner for accountability and to bounce, you know, questions off of and things like that. But ultimately, you do need to be a self-starter and be self-motivated. Okay, this next tip is a big one for me, honestly, for the bar exam, for work, for life, is study your weakest subject during your most alert time of the day, okay? So for me, whenever a topic for the bar exam was something like that I dreaded or just didn't do well with, like evidence, for example, I hated evidence. I would want to push it off until the end of the day. And I just found like that was like such a bad idea. And instead I started to just attack it first and get it over with. And that way I can move on without dreading that topic coming up, you guys. Because honestly, the weakest subject you should be studying the hardest, and you just have to just go ahead and attack it. So get it done sooner rather than later. So my next tip is to have a study schedule. You guys, a study schedule is so important. You need to be organized and you need to give yourself something to stick to. So for me, for the first bar exam that I took, I studied from Monday through Saturday from about 8 to 8, right? Like a 12-hour day with a break for lunch. And on Sundays, I would do shorter days from about 10 to 5 or 12 to 5 because I needed to give myself, you know, some time to break. And for me, I found the study schedule to be very, very helpful because I get a lot done. And then when I went home, I was able to try and decompress as much as possible. Obviously, the bar exam was still on my mind, but I wasn't, you know, up studying all night and things like that. I would come home, you know, watch TV or just decompress, just relax and try to get my mind off the bar exam as much as possible because I knew I put in the work for those 12 hours of that day. So having a study schedule, I think is very, very, very key, and you guys should all be working on your study schedule right now and getting that together if you don't already have it together for bar prep. And I'm not gonna lie, it was hard sometimes to have to pull out my phone and look at notes or look at flashcards and things like that, but for the most part it did help that I knew that I put the work in. So just try and decompress as much as possible, because what you don't want to do is outwork yourself too much, you guys. One thing you need to remember is that bar prep is a marathon, you guys. It is a marathon. Okay, this next tip is huge. Do not neglect the MBE just because it's multiple choice. In my opinion, honestly, the essays are much easier because you can easily pick up points by dropping the full rule of law or just showing that you understand the concept of what they're trying to test. The MBE, on the other hand, is multiple choice. Like, there is going to be a right or wrong answer. Yeah, sometimes the bar does have an answer that they realized later that was like too hard, or there were 2 answers that could be right, and so they throw that question out or let you get it. But for the most part, it's multiple choice and there is a right and wrong answer. So don't just rely on the fact that it's multiple choice. You guys really need to take tons of practice tests and really try to be as strong in the MBE as much as possible. All right, my next tip is to take breaks if you feel overwhelmed. You guys, like I said, the bar exam is a marathon. There will be days where you will just need a break. There will be days where you need to go home an hour early from, deviate from your study schedule and go home an hour early. That is okay. As long as you are putting in the work when you're supposed to be putting in the work, like I said, sticking to that study schedule and actually studying and not just looking like you're studying or talking about studying, taking a break will be totally fine. There were times where I got late starts and there were times where I left early because I just needed a break, and I was totally fine. Okay, the next tip I have is to meal prep as much as possible, especially your lunches. One thing that I found is that when you don't bring your lunch during study, it is just a huge distraction because you give yourself the excuse to stop studying because, oh, you need to pick up food, or you need to order food, or you need to call in food. And it's just like, if you have your food with you, you don't have to worry about any of those distractions, and it really allows you to get through your day. Now, I'm not saying that you should eat through studying, although I did sometime, admittedly, but just having the food there prepped, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to go get anything, you don't have to call anyone, and then you can get right back to studying. A lot of times I felt like people try to just have a reason to be distracted because they don't want to study anymore, because studying sucks. But you guys, it's 2 months. It sucks, it's 2 months, but just buckle down and you guys will make it, and it'll be over, and you'll take it once and then you can move on from it and never take it again, unless you're crazy like me and move states and have to take it again. Okay, this next tip is major, you guys, major. So listen up, okay? Review the explanations for your practice test, whether you got the answer right or wrong, okay? A lot of people would take practice tests and, like, say for example, they took a practice MBE, and then they'll go through the questions of what they got right and what they got wrong. And for the ones they got right, they won't read the explanation that Barbary gives you for why each answer is right or wrong. Like, Barbary will go through and say A was wrong because B was wrong, and etc., right? And a lot of people will skip it if they got it right because they're like, oh, I know it. Honestly, you guys, you need to read the explanations whether they're right or wrong. For obvious reasons, you need to read why you got them wrong. But the reason why you need to read the explanations, even if you got them right, is because sometimes you get the answer right just because you had a good guess, right? You think you knew the answer, but you really didn't. You guys, the MBE questions are super, super tricky, okay? So go ahead and read those explanations. That way, whether you got it right, or whether you got it right out of luck, you'll know. And then the next time a question like that comes about, you will remember that you read the explanation and you will know what the right answer is off top, and you will get more answers correct on the MBE. So guys, that is a big one. Make sure you review the explanations. Okay, so the next tip is study like your life depends on it. I've probably said this already, but it's 2 months, you guys. 2 months of your life. This is just a sacrifice you're going to have to make. You need to buckle down and study. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it to slack and have to take it again. And I'm not saying people who don't pass are slackers, but there are people who don't pass because they didn't put the work in. And so you just don't want to be in that group of people. And so take this time to really just study hard and just get it done so you don't have to do it again. I'm telling you, the feeling of relief when those bar exam test results come back and you see your name on the list, you guys, I haven't felt a feeling that good yet. And that was about 4 years ago for me for the first time. And I'm still like, best day ever. So go ahead and buckle down. You guys got this, and you'll pass on the first try if you really buckle down. All right, the next tip is to lean on your support system. You guys, your family, your friends, your loved ones are there for you, and it is okay to lean on them in times like this. I know for me, I'm like a really independent person. I don't like inconveniencing people. I'm not one to just ask for help a lot. But during this time, you just have to put your pride aside. That is what the people who love you are there for. Ask them to help you pick up groceries, run errands, do anything that are distractions from you studying for the bar exam. They love you and they'll understand, and they will help you out. Don't be afraid to utilize the people around you so you can focus on what you need to focus on, and that is studying for that bar exam. Another question I think I might get is, what bar prep course did I take? I took Barbary for the first bar exam, and then for the second bar exam I actually didn't take a course. I was really confident, you know, I'd passed the Texas bar exam, which in my opinion is probably one of the harder ones. With Missouri, I had just had to take the UBE, which I think Texas is doing now, so you guys are lucky if you're taking the UBE out in Texas. But I took Barbie for the first one, and then for the second one I just ordered some books off eBay. Like, I didn't even take a course, but Barbary is what I took, and then the books that I ordered were Barbary books as well. So if you guys want a video about my Barbary experience and what I think about Barbary, happy to do one. Just let me know in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram at _theaspiringboss, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Honestly guys, this is such a huge exam. I know how you guys are feeling. I've been in your shoes twice, and I really get it. And so I do want to offer myself as a resource for any questions or concerns that you might have. This is why I started the channel. I really mean that when I say you can reach out. Obviously YouTube makes it kind of hard to communicate, so just find me on Instagram and follow me there, or you can write it in the comments below. But I really do offer myself as a resource. Also, if there are any other bar exam or legal related videos you guys want me to make, I'm happy to do them. Just let me know and I will put those in the queue. I'm just gonna leave you guys with this. Study hard. You guys got this. It will be on your mind constantly for the next 2 months. You guys, I can remember, like, I'd be at like Chipotle or something and not even studying for the bar, and literally I would think of something that I needed to study or something that I forgot to study, and like write crazy notes in my phone. Like, I probably can find those notes still in my phone today just because I don't delete anything usually. But yeah, it's gonna be on your mind all the time, and it's just 2 months. It sucks, but once it's over, you guys, it's the best feeling in the world. But with that, I will see you guys in the next video. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a like. That really helps me out, lets YouTube know that you guys like my content. Also, if you're new here, or if you've been here before and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. I finally hit my 500 subscriber mark, and I'm on to the next goal, which is 750 subscribers. I appreciate you guys' support, and I will see you guys in the next video, okay? Happy studying.